the fight for reproductive rights.
Do you want to see the court overturn Roe v. Wade?
Well, if we put another 2 or perhaps 3 justices on, that's really what's going to be, that will happen. And that'll happen automatically, in my opinion, because I am putting pro-life justices on the court.
What's the Supreme Court going to do about abortion? They're not really going to overturn Roe versus Wade, are they? They can't do that, can they? I can't tell you how many people have asked me questions like this in recent months. It makes sense. So my answer is depressing but direct. Roe versus Wade will be dead within the year.
At the Supreme Court today, an historic upheaval. In a sweeping ruling that overturned a half a century of precedents, 5 justices ended the right of American women to choose abortion under the Constitution. And from the liberal wing, a scathing, agonized dissent. Justice Stephen Breyer arguing that Alito's ruling is based on nothing more than the fact that 3 new justices appointed by Donald Trump, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett, cast decisive votes to overturn Roe. Neither law, nor facts, nor attitudes have provided any new reasons to reach a different result than Roe did. All that has changed is this court. The impact of today's ruling will be immediate. 13 states have trigger laws that end access to abortion now that Roe is overturned. 13 more states are now expected to move quickly to ban abortion. Abortion rights groups are bracing for this new reality in America.
On the steps of the Louisiana State House today,
my name is Nancy Davis.
A pregnant woman told her story.
10 weeks into my pregnancy, I found out that my baby had a rare birth defect called a crania. The doctors told me that my baby would die shortly after birth. It should not happen to any other woman.
Next week, she says, she's going out of the state for an abortion.
News reports across the world spoke of how a 10-year-old rape survivor from Ohio was forced to go to Indiana to get an abortion. Ohio does not allow abortions after a heartbeat is detected. Heartbeats can be detected as early as 6 weeks into a pregnancy before most women even know that they're pregnant. And this is why the 10-year-old child could not get an abortion in her home state. There are no exceptions for either rape or incest in Ohio. The only exception is if pregnant women are at risk of substantial and irreversible impairment of a major bodily function, I'm quoting. So unless a mother's life could be in danger, Ohio will not allow abortions, even for a child who is raped.
And a Texas woman who suffered a miscarriage says the state's restrictive abortion laws put women into a dangerous health situation. This happened out near Houston in Conroe. Marlene Estelle had miscarried 9.5 weeks into her pregnancy. She asked for a D&C, a common procedure to remove the fetus after a miscarriage to prevent infection. But it happened after the state banned procedure after the first detectable heartbeat. Estelle said doctors in the Houston area denied her the procedure because of the confusing law.
You feel like a walking coffin. You're just walking around knowing that you're carrying a loss. It felt like I was jumping through so many hoops just to get care for something that had already happened. I already had lost the baby.
I am spitting mad over this. We have 6 extremist justices on the United States Supreme Court who have decided that their moral and religious views should be imposed on the rest of America. This is not what America wants. And in a democracy on this issue, the Supreme Court does not get the last word, the people do. And we are going to fight back. The rest of us are ready to rally back and say it is important to have federal protection for people who are pregnant. It is important to recognize individuals' rights, individuals' needs. It is important that we be able to make these decisions for ourselves and not have a government that steps in to do that. We are not without actions that we can take. We need to have hope, but we need to hang on to this anger because we use that anger to fuel change.
These comments might be strong, but it's how I genuinely feel. I don't care that you're a Christian. I don't care what the Bible says. Like, I feel like it's a clown show, like sitting here trying to decipher what your little mythical book has to say about these very real political issues, right? I don't care if you're Christian. In fact, I will fight for you to have your religious liberty and practice your Christianity. I believe in that. I don't believe in Christianity, which means that you do not get to dictate the way I live my life based on your religion. I don't care what the Bible says. You have every right in the world. All those women who identify with your religion have every right in the world to not get an abortion, to not take birth control, but they do not have the right to dictate my life and what I decide to do with my body.
If a young woman wants to have an abortion, fine. It's no skin off my ass. That's why they call it choice. It's your choice.